Hey, listen, I'm doing a podcast, and I have a quick question for you, Chris.
What?
My question is, what do you think happened in 9/11? What really happened? We're having a discussion about it.
It was a total inside job.
Did Cheney ask him this?
Wait, so this guy has this thing about what's the question?
Did Cheney have a do not shoot down order for the planes?
Yeah, he made NORAD stand down.
Because there was a bunch of training games going on in the Midwest United States, so all of the fighter jets.
At the same time, there was a training going on, correct? So they were confused as to what the hell they were supposed to do.
Was he really confused?
Where's this guy live? I need to get him on here.
Oh, bro, he's.
There was also, if you realize, there was also something called the New American, and the New American was a group that got together, one of these, mind together groups. And they said they needed an incident like a new Pearl Harbor.
Have you watched the documentary 9/11, the new Pearl Harbor?
They needed an incident like a new Pearl Harbor because they needed to get rid of Saddam Hussein. There were no weapons of mass destruction, as you know. That was all bullshit.
It was all sold by CNN.
And they needed to get rid of Gaddafi, but that had already happened. But anyway, it was all an inside job. If you look at Building 7 fell down on its own imprint, and there was no plane that hit it.
Yep.
Yeah, but the Building 7 thing, that I don't know about Building 7. The Building 7 thing, wasn't Building 7 full of some sort of chemicals or gas? Wasn't it full of
Files.
No, it was.
No, it was full of files and information that they didn't want to get out.
I heard that it was they were storing all kinds of chemicals and shit in there.
No, and if you notice, there was a camera on that building for hours. Now, I was in TV and video. It takes time to set up a camera with cables, and that camera was set on Building 7 and recording for hours.
What about the plane that hit the Pentagon? The Pentagon's what, 4 stories tall, and it's a 30-acre mile wide footprint? Why wouldn't they crash into the roof? Wouldn't it be easier to land, crash the plane to the roof, cause more destruction than it would just to be to fly the plane 50 feet above the ground and hit this?
First of all, it was a cruise missile. There was no plane. There was no tail. There was no fuselage. There was no wings. There was no baggage of people. There was no dead bodies. 250.
There were no to your point. There were no images of any plane remnants or anything.
Nothing.
There was no
plane
video
at Shanksville, Pennsylvania either.
Right.
In there.
You can see the planes flying into the towers, but there's no footage or photos of a plane flying into the Pentagon.
Right.
Okay, let's scratch this. Let's go to something else. Well,
and there were cameras at the nearby Marriott that the FBI confiscated. They didn't want anybody to see them.
We need those.
Listen, I have something completely different. I got a completely different one. What about?
What's up, Matt Cox?
What's going on, bro? I got to get you on here. Listen, what about this? What about Oklahoma City, the Oklahoma City bombing?
The Alfred P. Murrah building, yeah.
What's your take on that?
There were 3 bombs in the building that never went off. That was put in there by the CIA before, what's his name, did the truck bomb.
You got to get him on here. Okay, one more. I have another one. What is the thing?
You guys have got to see 9/11: The Road to Tyranny by Alex Jones.
I'm watching right now 9/11: The New Pearl Harbor.
Okay,
Have you seen that?
But you got to see 9/11: The Road. Write this down. 9/11:
The Road to Tyranny.
The Road to Tyranny.
Ask him about Bohemian Grove.
By Alex Jones. I don't know if it's still on YouTube or they took it down.
What is it?
Ask him about Bohemian Grove.
What do you know about Bohemian Grove?
It's out in San Francisco, 150 miles out on the woods.
What's going on there?
Worship this big owl called Moloch, which is in the Bible in Leviticus.
This guy's Alex
basically,
Jones.
You were sacrificing your children into the fire to have good luck in farming and things like that.
Is there any homosexuals there?
They have what's called a cremation of care, which is this really sick fucking ritual that they supposedly have an effigy of a child or a human that they burn in the fire. Supposedly it's an effigy, and it's a place where they have all kinds of weird sexual things and all that. You should get a book by Kathy O'Brien called The Transformation of America. And in there, she was a sex slave for those people, for the elite, and a guy named Mark Phillips, who was a CIA agent, got her out of it. But she had been a sex slave for years, and she wrote a book called The Transformation of America.
He can do this with any fucking thing. Watch.
What about the moon? What about the moon?
Okay, what about the moon? What about the moon landing? What do you think about that? And he'll have books.
I don't think the moon landing happened in the first ones, but the other ones did happen. And guess what?
What happened when it rang like a bell?
Recently, you're gonna flip on this one. When they took off, the module that was discharged from the actual takeoff, and it hit the moon, and the moon rang like a bell for hours. That means it's hollow. And they now, a lot of people think that the moon was actually towed into place centuries ago, and that it's actually hollow.
So I have a question, real quick. You know the Navy jets that got those UFO things on tape.
The Tic Tacs.
Yeah. What do you think those are? What's the
UFOs?
Are they extraterrestrial, or are they Russian cruise missiles?
No, they're extraterrestrial, dude. They're 25,000 miles an hour. Yeah, they're extraterrestrials.
Wow.
And they stop and they go. They come down to the water, then they shoot up to the sky, 80,000 feet or whatever.
How do you know it's not China or Russia?
Speed. Nobody has the technology for that.
So I got another one. Fact. What about this? And listen, bro. Like he'll have books, and listen. You should have seen him in prison. He had tons of books, like all kind of pictures, books, and this is in prison. I can only imagine what he's got now. But wait, one more thing. Listen, this is another. So, what's the number that you always look for? The what they're borrowing money against our Social Security number, and you can get if you get your what was the name of the number you were trying to get that you got your.
Oh, you mean the QSub number?
QSub number, and what is that number good for? Why do you need that?
All right. Well, every number that you get from the federal government is attached to a QSub number, which is an international trading system that they have set up through Fidelity and the SEC. You just look up QSubNumber.com. You can read about it, or go to Wikipedia. You can read about it. But QSub number, everything you get from the federal government, like your Social Security number, your driver's license number, passport, and Matt, even the federal ID number that we had in prison, all those numbers have a major QSub number attached to it.
Okay.
And if it has a QSub number attached to it, it has what's called a pooling and servicing agreement. And what they do is they add a bid bond, performance bond, and payment bond to it. They actually securitize them and sell them as asset-backed securities on the stock market, which are later connected to REITs and mutual funds and things like that.
So you understand? At one point, at one point you got in trouble in the state, and didn't you file something against the judge, or you tried to get your?
Oh no, I filed something against the judge to make her the trustee, and she didn't like that. She put me in jail.
Fuck.
And you're did you ever get become a sovereign citizen? Did that ever go through?
Yeah.
What is a sovereign citizen?
Yeah, what does that mean?
These guys are asking.
All right. There's the United States of America and the United States. If you look up United States Code Title 28, Section 3002, subsection 15A, you will see that the United States in capital letters as a federal corporation that was actually incorporated just after the Civil War. The it's what we have now, which is a fascist corporate military democracy.
Okay.
What we had was the United States of America incorporated in 1787, which was a de jure republic. And that's where you want to get back to. That's where you want to be sovereign. You're above the actual government, because you have, and they pronounce it this way, they say unalienable rights, correct? You've always heard that. Well, it's not unalienable rights. If you look at the word unalienable in the dictionary, there's no meaning to it, because the word is not unalienable. It's pronounced unalienable rights. Key word being lien, where the government cannot lien, levy, or seize against you. Yet we have now a fascist corporate military democracy. And a democracy is the worst form of government before you have total tyranny, which is what you've seen on the news and what's happening now.
Does he think we should have an autocracy?
So what? Real quick. Sorry, Danny wants to know if you think we should have an autocracy.
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 Like, should we be like China?
Should we be like China?
Fuck no.
No.
Then what else? What other options do we have?
You need a capitalistic system based on trade and that, all that, and what they have is pure communism mixed with capitalism right now. But you don't have freedoms. You don't have the freedoms we have here, even though we're losing those freedoms slowly.
Well, hey, listen, Danny wants to. We got to wrap it up, but I'm gonna talk to Dan. Who's Danny? Danny's the guy who's running this. The podcast is called Concrete, but
yeah,
we got
I've seen you on YouTube.
Yeah, but I'm gonna contact you. I'm gonna give you Danny's information. See if we can try and get you on here. Are you able to travel or?
No, I can't. I got an ankle monitor. You know that.
Where's he at?
He's in. Where are you at anyway?
Right now, I'm in Margate.
Where's that?
And I work 6 days a week.
What's that near?
Margate is near Pompano Beach.
Pompano Beach.
It's
Well,
in Fort Lauderdale.
Fort Lauderdale.
Can he come to Tampa for a day with a probation officer?
Yeah, if you get okay from the probation officer. Well, hey, let me call you back. Let me call you back.
Bye.
All right, bye.